Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks very much for attending. Just to say that my name is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the head of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, or as we call it for short, ABCT, which is essentially the world's first national airfield charity, and we've been around since 2006. We also have a very popular 3,500 pages website. So we mentioned Dover, Guston Road Airfield with all the other airfields across the UK. So we're really delighted to be here to help unveil our latest memorial, in this case Dover Guston Road Airfield, one of the three military airfields Dover had in World War I. Just to give you a quick potted history of this and just why this is so important for all of us in our everyday lives. The airfield first opened, as you can see, at the end of 1914, and this airfield was used by the Royal Naval Air Service, the naval military arm at the time, which eventually merged with the Royal Flying Corps in 1918 to become the Royal Air Force. So this airfield was used for a mixture of training and operational flying, and there was one very significant development here early on in World War I, which showed how much military aviation and indeed airfields had progressed even just since the start of World War I in August 1914. What happened was that various aircraft, very daring for its day, they were becoming concerned by enemy submarine activity in captured Belgian ports at Ostend and Zeebrugge. So they actually mounted very early bombing raids, flying across the English Channel with whatever bombs that were available at the time, and they at least made an effect upon the enemy war effort, and that was in February 1915. So the airfield employed a mixture of operational training flying, patrols in English Channel, flying training, and then eventually things were further coordinated, as I mentioned, in 1918 when the Royal Air Force came into being. So by this time there were also, for example, anti-submarine patrols. The airfield itself closed during 1919. Some people say 1920. This is part of the problem with research with this kind of subject. And as you imagine, we've got to be very careful with dates, for obvious reasons. But by all accounts, it seems this airfield closed in the late summer of 1919. And if you know where to look, you can find various bits of perhaps less obvious historical information what happened here. The airfield itself was, even by World War I standards, fairly small, and it was all cramped in. But if you see our website, for example, we have supplied these computerized drawings that are derived from maps you can see at the National Archives in London. And you can see how all the hangars, or as they called them at the time, the airplane sheds, were cramped together, and all the support buildings. So it was a surprisingly small airfield here. But where we are is pretty much right in the middle, though you would never remotely guess. This is, and in many respects always will be, Dover Guston Road Airfield. We are actually on the site. So, and it's still remembered, and we've already unveiled a memorial this morning at Capel, the well-known airship station. And then just to let you know, out of courtesy if nothing else, this afternoon at 4 o'clock we will be unveiling a similar memorial plaque to here at Whitfield Airfield, which was in a way Dover's forgotten airfield, which didn't even see the start of World War I. But this was involving people like once famous American aviator Harriet Quimby, who was the first lady aviator to fly across the English Channel. And then tomorrow morning we will be unveiling another memorial to Dover St Margaret's, or Swingate Airfield, on the Cliff Road out of Dover towards St Margaret's at Cliff. And that was famously where, very poignantly, where the first Royal Flying Corps pilots flew across the English Channel to France and everything that was to follow right at the start of World War One. So all three of Dover airfields, and of course not forgetting the seaplane base at Marine Parade, where we're now hoping to get a memorial there fairly soon as well. We're moving as fast as we can with this. That these places are still remembered, and from what we've just found today, they're still respected and commemorated. But this is the case with all of Britain's airfields, and not forgetting all the people who served at them, and in turn not forgetting their families. Just part of the fact we must never ever forget, these places played a massive difference in helping this country. They are the most almighty forces for good, and that's why we must do everything we can to just properly respect and remember them. So just please always, just in your thoughts, remember our airfields, past and present, and all the people who served that. Again, as I said, not forgetting their families. So we naturally wish you all the very best with this, and we hope it brings you good fortune. And therefore we are really pleased to be able to unveil and supply to the school our latest memorial to Dover Guston Road Airfield. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.